where San Francisco and Philadelphia have been NFC representatives in the Super Bowl of late. The reigning champs on this field against that guy. Going to be hard to beat. But this guy played the whole game this time. And there you see Demarcus Robinson touchdown after he got hit for a gigantic chunk play right out of the gate, first play of the game. And it's 7-0. How would Philadelphia answer against this San Francisco defense that frankly has surrendered quite a lot throughout the year? There goes Saquon for a gain of 29. Now it's Dallas Goedert, who led all tight ends with touchdowns this year. He was only 3 away from leading the entire league in touchdowns. He takes it in. Very windy day, extra point miss. 4th and 1. Here comes the tush push, brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it. Eagles keep the drive alive. Guess who? It's Goddard on 4th and 2. And initially they said illegal man downfield. He was engaged. They picked the flag up. 13-7. And this is no good at all. George Kittle, who battled through injuries all year, and this was sort of the telltale. You see the back of that calf, and then you see him immediately start hopping. Achilles injury, and our best to you, brother. That is a guy that seems like everybody around the league pulls for, and he is done. It's 13-10. 3rd and 9. Hurts looking for A.J. Brown. Brown cannot secure it. Nick Sirianni and Brown after the incompletion. What are you talking about? Here's what Sirianni said post-game.
You know, I was trying to get him off the field, you know, because we were about to punt. We were both emotional. I was trying to get him off the field, and, you know, you never want, you know, that happens in this game. That happens in this game, but I love him.
Brown did not speak to reporters after the game. 13-10, now 16-10 after the field goal. And this is a guy, Juwan Jennings, as a high school quarterback, he was ranked ahead of guys like Burrow. Who else?
Lamar.
So, I mean, he can throw the ball now. And he takes a shot and delivers an absolute gem to McCaffrey, who makes a heck of a Willie Mays grab, we'll put it in San Francisco terms. And it's 17-16. Now Purdy with the ball in the lead, looking for Jake Tonjes and Quinyon Mitchell underneath, able to get that pick. Eagles turn that into a field goal. It's 19-17. We have seen drive after drive this opening weekend of the playoffs. Dramatic scores. Can Purdy lead one? Good start. There's McCaffrey. It's now 3rd and goal. And I said to Steve, maybe run Texas. Here he comes from the other side of the field. He spins, cuts it back. Purdy, McCaffrey, touchdown. Niners missing the extra point as well, so it's 23-19. It comes to this. Can this Eagle defense, maligned all year, inconsistent all year, can they get the game-winning drive? Hurts on 4th down, Goddard. Drive stays alive. 3rd and 11. Looking for Devontae Smith. That's high, and Smith cannot secure it. He takes a shot as well, so it comes down to a 4th down play. 4th and 11. Season on the line. There are 3 Niners in the vicinity of that toss, and Goddard can't get that one. Robert Saleh, Shanahan fired up. The disappointment of Sirianni. The Eagles are defeated by 4. After a remarkable victory in the belly of the beast, the Link against the reigning champions, Brock Purdy kind enough to throw on the headset. And when you threw on the headset and I just said, bro, you're hard to kill, and you kind of smiled and said, are we live right now? I said, we're not. But that's the essence of what I want to say to you. I think your greatest superpower is that. You guys are incredibly hard to kill. How do you describe that 60 minutes of football?
Man, it's playoff football, man. Anything can happen. And, you know, for us to, you know, go through the ups and downs, and you lose Kittle, and you're on the road, and you got to find a way to finish. The conditions were whatever, and but at the end of the day, man, coming together, offense going and scoring when we need to, and then defense getting a stop at the end, like, that's team football, man. So I'm very thankful for all the boys.
You guys know what it is to get to the biggest game, and this isn't that. But given who you've lost, given who you're playing, Brock, how satisfying is this victory for this group of men, given all you've been through?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, all the guys that have helped build this culture that we got with, you know, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, and Kittle, like, for guys like that to go down and then have guys step up and find ways to win in the NFL, man, like, it's not easy. So to be able to come out here and win on the road like that in a playoff game, like, I it just feels good overall, man. So
I bet it does. Look, we all rave about Shanahan being in his bag, and you guys have an amazing sort of synergy and options that you can go to. But when you go to that play call that leads to Juwan Jennings throwing a touchdown in the stakes and the stage, when that call comes into your headset, what are you thinking?
I mean, we all just knew what play it was, and we're like, all right, here we go. And so I told JJ, I was like, dude, if it's not there, throw it away. But sure enough, it was there. I look back, he got destroyed, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I look over, I see Christian catch it. The whole thing was crazy.
Right.
But JJ's a baller. He did that in the Super Bowl too. So.
Yeah, but you know that every time if a receiver's going to get that, he's never throwing it away. I'm gonna try to get this 6 if I can, right? They never want to throw it away. But and given that spot, I mean, he threw a perfect pass, and Christian made a hell of a catch.
Yeah, it was insane. And the wind, man, I looked up and the ball's caught up in the wind and it's over the shoulder, and Christian caught it. And we all came back to the sideline. All the quarterbacks were like, dude, JJ just threw a dot. So it was cool.
And then the play to McCaffrey for what ended up being the winning touchdown. I said to my guy Stanford Steve, run some kind of Texas, and it sort of was, but you bring him from the other side. Was he your primary on that play call?
He was the last guy in the progression, but obviously we knew if 1, 2, and 3 weren't there, then we were going to have a really good matchup with Christian on the backside, and sure enough, got to it, and he was right where he needed to be.
That's a good guy to have for the last progression. All right, last thought real quick. It's you guys in Seattle. You started your year up there with a win. Obviously, they got you, I guess, last week in your spot. Just a quick thought on what's required against that Seattle team that knows you so well and vice versa.
Yeah, obviously a really good team. We respect the heck out of them and how they play. And, more than anything, we got to watch this film, get better from it, clean it up, and, have a good week of preparation and get ready to go back on the road and find a way to win, man. It's playoffs. So.
Well, you did that today, and that's really the essence of this time of year. Congratulations to you and your group. Couldn't have more respect for what you all have done all season long and certainly what you did today, Brock. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Scott.
How do you frame what that team has done? You lose Kittle in this game, who's such a gigantic piece of what they're trying to do. You're taking on the reigning champs. You've lost all these people. Your thoughts?
Just that, everyone's talked about Shanahan, the job that he's done. I mean, you think Bosa, Warner. I mean, Brock brought it up. And then Kittle in the game, so you can't really plan for it. Never mind the guys that they've had out during the year. I just think he does a good job of understanding that. It's aggressive with the trick play call when really their offense wasn't doing much. And they did an excellent job, I think, of basically running this concept 4 different times. We're going to show you 2 of them, where they take Kyle Juszczyk, and they basically are going to widen him like he's running the flat. A lot of people call it an oil route. You go out, and then you come back inside late, or a little trail route. You run people vertical. He's reading it out, and then he comes back to him, and that distance between he and the flat defender is wide open. They do it 2 other times to Kittle, and then this is the one you're talking about. Looks like a little Texas route as if he's coming from the other side of the formation. He's later in the progression, so he's working front side. Same thing, widen the guy that's going to be the flat defender, and then you leverage him inside. This offense without Kittle, without true, real dominant receivers, you've got to find ways to get leverage and matchup opportunities for your running backs. Think about that's what they did in their passing game in this game once Kittle went down. It was their fullback and their tailback in the passing game.
Yeah.
That's what Kyle Shanahan designed, and that's, quite frankly, what Brock Purdy executed on.
And they earned the right to enjoy this today. But we now know, not the networks, but we now know that they and Buffalo, San Francisco and Buffalo, who played today, are playing 1 seeds next Saturday. So, again, San Francisco gets a short week. I'm sure Shanahan's got to be like, are you friggin' kidding me?
Well, they just traveled.
Right. It's a travel from the East Coast, and it's short week. And when they just played Seattle on their home field, they got worked. How do they create some sort of a different look and reality for themselves on a short week against that terrifying Seattle defense?
Well, what you don't know is what Kyle Shanahan feels like he learned from the most recent one where they scored 3 points. So, that's the biggest thing, because to say you're going to kind of be a completely different team, you said it. We talked about it after that game where it was what's the big takeaway? The big takeaway was man, Seattle's defense is brutal. Now put Seattle's defense with the crowd noise and the energy, in Seattle in a home game where you can't have these packaged plays where you're check with me at the line of scrimmage. So, look, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to get a lot of production out of the receivers. Their running backs are going to have to be great in the passing game, because it's going to be an uphill battle to get anything going against that defense, especially with no George Kittle, which we assume is going to be the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know that officially, but I think we can connect the dots. You go into the length zone when you're staring into, and I say this with affection, absolute mutants who are furious and they are coming for you, man. And if you can beat that crowd and that team, you've done something. Uphill battle all year for Jalen Hurts and this Eagle offense to find consistency. They were not able to go down the field and get the drive they needed to continue the season. Here's Hurts on where it went wrong.
Having everything in front of us, it was about winning. And that's something that we didn't collectively do, and that starts with me. So I take it very personally on that.
You got to use this adversity to shape you, and that's for everybody in that locker room. Myself, the coaches, the players. Let the pain shape you to what you want to be, and we'll use this like we used it at the end of 22, 23, because all that was necessary for 24, and we'll see what the future holds.
He alludes to it. It felt very similar to the way the season ended that year, where they made the playoffs but lost on the road to Tampa Bay. They won, but it was such an odd exercise, wasn't it? It felt like forensic analysis even when they did win. What do you think happens?
Yeah, it just felt like everything was hard, and there was, I don't want to say turmoil, but there just seemed like there was friction a lot of the time, and, and a lot of heat. Offensively, it made you wonder, because you go, this is Saquon Barkley. They can't run the football. This is Jalen Hurts. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Why is the passing game not clicking when he's been here with these receivers? And obviously tonight you had receivers like A.J. Brown underperform. There's so much heat in terms of the coordinator position there. You have to think that it probably goes a different direction. And then if you're a Philly fan and you say, like, okay, I'm excited about that. That's what I want, because, look, we lost Kellen Moore because he did a great job. He became a head coach. Like, replacing good coaches is hard. But then you have to think about the tax on Jalen Hurts and the fact that he pretty much has had a new play caller every year since going back to college. It's hard to be good that way. I
mean, and we're talking about like years into college. It's just every year it's a new scheme.
I mean, I get it wrong, but maybe it's like 7 different play callers over 7 years. I mean, it's a wild stat.
They've changed directions, and it worked immediately in Philadelphia. They've got a ton of talent. They got a ton of passion in that fan base. We'll see, as you say, what direction things go. Philadelphia won't be part of the